Welcome to the 5th episode in this less new by the minute, more fun talking retro podcast. A podcast created to peer into the dusty corners of our retro habit, rooting around for anything interesting so we can list it on eBay as worked when I last used it in 1989. Probably full of battery acid. I know what I have. My plan so far has been to try to have a balance of what I affectionately call normal people on here to talk about their passion for the hobby, but also to dip into a ready-made pool of guests who are more used to talking nonsense at a camera and in fact do it for fun, if not for profit. That pool of YouTubers covers a wide variety of niches within our niche hobby, but possibly one of the more mainstream areas of interest to you, dear listener or viewer, is those beige metal boxes we now call PCs, but your nan calls a hard drive. And this episode's guest runs a channel which is often up to its elbows in MFM drives and rhubarb and custard power cables and Windows 3.1 and the like. Although he has more recently expanded into the 8-bit arena, to which I will aim my hose at him and shriek, "Get off my lawn," in the most friendly way possible. This week, I'm lucky enough to be talking to the annoyingly excellent Matt from the YouTube channel Tech Made Easy. Hello, Matt.
Hello, mate. If you don't want people on your lawn, stop making it so inviting.
The grass is always greener on the specky side of the of the fence. Right, first of all, is it TME retro or is it Tech Made Easy retro? Because it used to be Tech Made Easy retro and you kind of morphed.
Well, the thing, I don't know, is the honest answer.
It's always good to have a plan, mate.
Yeah, I've never really had a plan. I think that's been part of the problem. So Tech Made Easy came about 15 years ago. Initially, it was just a website where I would put how-to guides and things like that to try and help people with commonly found problems. And then YouTube was sort of an extension of that. And then about 7-8 years ago, I started doing a much more episodic content on YouTube. And again, it was still sort of how-to guides. It was about how to upgrade laptops and things like that. And then COVID happened, and suddenly I had a lot of time. And thanks to some annoying bloke called Neil, I fell down a bit of a rabbit hole.
Which one was it? Which video was it? Do you remember?
He was walking past a skip on his way to work and found a 486 sat lovingly placed on top of a skip, and he nicked it and did it up. So it was a relatively early one. And then I just started doing retro stuff of my own, and it's sort of grown from there. But the website is still techmadeeasy.co.uk. And occasionally stuff still does get posted there. But the channel is now TME Retro because it was still called Tech Made Easy for a long time. There's two problems with that. One, I wasn't really doing Tech Made Easy type stuff anymore. And two, there's about 4 or 5 other channels called Tech Made Easy as well.
I've had this problem searching for your channel myself.
And although I was the first one, some of them are actually much more successful and arguably better at it than me. So I thought it important to differentiate myself. So I changed it to TME Retro about 6 months ago.
All the others, mate, are dead to me. You came first. You're the OG, and that's all that I care about. Also, I know I don't know them. Why? I want to talk about your motivation for doing YouTube because I don't often talk about. Well, I don't really. The aim of this is not generally to talk about YouTube stuff because it's not very interesting. But I do want to know why you do this and what is it you get. Is there something that you're? Is there some kind of itch you're trying to scratch, or is it just the sharing thing?
So I've been on YouTube nearly 15 years now. It'll be 15 years next month. And it's not been consistent. I've taken breaks in that time. I think the biggest one was when our little one came along, and I took about 4 years out. But what I really love about doing it more recently, there was a financial incentive. When I was doing how-to videos about upgrading laptops and things, there would always be affiliate links in the video description so that people could see what parts I'd got. And that actually can make you quite a bit of money. 3 figures a month, certainly, for a relatively small and obscure channel. So I can understand entirely why these larger channels exist purely for financial gain. The retro stuff, what I've really found, and I know you feel this too, is the sense of community around it. So we've met in person a number of times now. I've met other people that are in the chat on the live stream. I've met other people that are in various Discord servers that we're associated with. And just having that commonality of interest, and some would say hyper interest, in some cases, we're not limited by that anymore. It's a great starting point, but we've talked about all sorts of things, political issues. We've talked about, family and friends and all sorts of things that are going on in our personal lives. And it's a great community that we're part of, and it's a really active community as well. So I'm now at the point where I don't really need to make money from YouTube. I'm very fortunate in that regard. And the money's nice because it allows me to keep going. But it's much more about the interaction that I have with people as a result of doing the videos. And, we're never going to be famous, right? We're never going to be one of these massive tech YouTubers. But that's not important. I find much more value in the engagement that we have with a relatively small number of people than those guys get any day of the week.
Do you know what? That does concern me about the bigger YouTubers. I know that, for instance, Neil definitely does not suffer from this. And I think one of the reasons he's done what he's done is because he is like us. He's one of these people that really enjoys the community aspect of it and really appreciates that other people are interested in the same thing that he is, and gets just as big a kick out of discovering something new in retro for himself as he does for somebody else getting that same experience or giving that same experience to somebody else. So when are you opening your museum? Because I'm planning to open mine. There's a mill down the road, actually. It's a hotel at the moment, but I'm sure we can drive them out of business. I think I'm going to get mine probably 2 to 3 years. I just got to find a Richard and a Holly and a Daniel and a Jason and
a Derek and a
let's go through the list. So have you got any plans to
Well, we're very lucky. We bought our house about 5-6 years ago. We were living overseas at the time, and we only moved back during COVID, a couple of years after we bought it. And around that time, we came into some money because another property that we owned that we've been trying to sell for a number of years finally sold. That released a lot of capital. So we built this space at the end of our garden. I'll send you some photos so you can overlay it for the broadcast version. But we built a garden room that is fully insulated. It's got air conditioning, heating, electrics, Wi-Fi, Ethernet. It's all you could ever want. And I use it for my day job, but I also use it for everything YouTube related. So that's the space I've got for now, and it's much more than many people could ever hope to have. But saying that, there was a kebab shop down the street that went up for sale about 3 months ago, and I was this close to buying it because I live in the north.
Because you're craving a kebab.
I was craving a kebab. I believe I put it in the Discord and I said, this is what this place is going for. And someone commented that they couldn't get a parking spot for that round their way. It was ridiculously cheap. Someone else has bought it now and they're turning it into another kebab shop. But it would have been a perfect environment and literally a stone's throw. I probably could have slung some Ethernet cable across some houses and had a direct link in. And that would have been fantastic. But I think for now, that's a pipe dream. I'm very fortunate, as I say, that I can take the money that I do get from YouTubing and invest it back into the channel. But it's going to be a long way off before I can take that step to invest in property or anything like that.
It sounds like taking over a shop is the thing to do. Short circuit with Pete and Tony doing that down in Folkestone, is it? In Kent. It does sound quite intriguing, and I could see me doing that. Then maybe that's the way to go. Maybe a mill is not the ideal setting.
Kebab shops, mate, it's the way forward.
A kebab shop, and then you get the smell as well, don't you?
The lingering smell of grease.
We have to do the obvious thing, and there are certain tropes that you have to go through when you're making a podcast in this genre. And one of those is, where did you start? It's an obvious question, but it's kind of important because when I started, not when I started, because that was when I was a baby, but when I was a young lad, before 1982, there weren't any computers in people's homes. It wasn't a thing. It's something that changed over that 10, 15 years, and the world completely changed. Now, you're obviously a much younger man than me, because you can tell from your boyish good looks that I've probably got, I'm going to assume, at least 15 years on you, if not more. What was the world like when you were that wide-eyed young lad? Where did the wonder for tech come from? What thing came along and hit you in the face and like a wet kipper?
So my first recollection of any computing device was a Commodore 64. We had one at home, and my dad had one. And he could load up Dizzy and I could have a go at it, but we're talking I was like 5-6 years old. In terms of using a computer in anger, I think the main thing that did it for me was I was in year 5. So this would have been about, I'm going to age myself, this would have been about 1994. And I would have been 9-10 years old. And I can remember vividly the school teacher wheeling in a trolley with a Packard Bell 486 on it, the executive multimedia that we all know and love. And there's one right there, the same model, because my parents actually went and got one based on me coming home so excited. I think my dad just wanted to get rid of his Commodore. And they used to play these FMV style edutainment titles that taught you about. There was one called Speed that some people might remember. That was about teaching you about technology and engineering and things like that.
Not amphetamines.
Not amphetamines.
Okay.
There was one called Undersea Adventure, which was all about, marine biology and things like that. And then there was the Grolier Multimedia Encyclopedia. And we must have watched the Hindenburg disaster about 10 times.
In a postage stamp.
In a postage stamp size window. But Windows 3.1 was the first proper operating system that I got to grips with. And then I learned DOS, because you had to learn DOS afterwards. And then, as I say, my parents were they must have been so receptive to how I came home that day, that Christmas they went and bought the same model from PC World in Northampton. And that's not the same one. That's one
what happened to the original one?
Oh God. So as far as I can remember, it got a boot sector virus.
Oh.
And my dad
took it out
threw it in the bin
and burnt it. Okay, just as good.
He ended up getting a Dell Dimension with one of those newfangled Celeron processors in it.
Oh, nice.
Because the salesman told him how wonderful these new Celerons were and how they knocked the pants off everything else. And yeah. And he kept that for a few years. But no, that original one, I'm pretty sure, because it got a boot sector virus, he threw it in the bin. Oh. But then that one was a Facebook ad up in Scotland, and Duncan Retro Crazy very kindly went over and picked it up for me. And then the next time he and I met up, he handed it over.
Duncan's a lovely guy.
He's an amazing bloke.
I will be asking him to come on here, because I'm sure he's got a few stories as well. And he's done a few favours for us Southerners. He's done a few favours in the Retro Hardware Discord. The Retro Hardware Discord is something anyone watching this should come and have a look at, because not just me, it's not my Discord anymore. It belongs to a few of us now. We've got, obviously, I've had Lee Smith has been hanging around for a while. He's always been there with me. He's kind of my partner in crime, the two Lees, a bit like the Ronnies, but probably not as funny. But we've also got TME Retro, Matt, or
whoever that is.
Don't Google him, or don't search on YouTube. There'll be a link in the description. And we've got Retro Bytes John, and we've got Retro Bits Matt as well. So we're gathering other YouTubers around us, and we're going to try and get some more as well. There are other people, but not only that, there are creators, people that contribute to the retro scene with their own projects are popping up all the time. And I'm not going to name names now, but if you want to know, you can join. But there are some people out there that have created things that have shaken and stirred up this retro scene like you would not believe. Actually, do you know what? One of them's in the chat. Matt Desmond is part of our YouTube as well. He's got his own little channel there, and they can share their own projects in the Retro Hardware Discord. Link in the description, and you can question them, you can interrogate them, you can demand revisions and updates from them if you want, or you can't really. You've got to be nice, because there is one rule, which is don't be a jerk, and everybody seems to adhere to it, which is a really nice thing. Are you enjoying the Discord? How has it been since you've joined?
So there's two Discords that I'm actively involved in. There's the Big Red Arrow Club one.
What's that?
and then there's our one, and I still have to wrap my head around this our one thing, because I think for me it will always be your one, because that was the origin of it. But it's been such a welcoming space. And I mean, one thing I will say about my videos is I am by no means an expert in anything that I do. And I try and be honest and open about that when I do my videos. But the amount of times where I can present a problem in our Discord and someone has the right answer, and that's what I really love about it, because I learn something every time I go onto that Discord.
It's a brilliant resource. That actually makes me wonder if you go through the same thing as I do when I'm making my videos, or have that same fear of starting a project because you might not know enough about it, because you put yourself out there in front of other people, and people have a certain expectation of competency that you feel, this is an internal thing that you feel you should project. And I take great pains in saying I'm not an expert, but it still stops me. I actually ran across this. I've got a video that will be coming out probably around the same time as this episode comes on, and it will be something like Grubby number 2. So there will be in the title, and it's a C64 repair that I did, which had me running around in circles, and I really struggled to pin down the problem. And I got there in the end, and it was not something that I would ever have expected. And I even ran it past the Retro Channel Mark, who is genuinely somebody that knows what he's talking about. He really does know he knows his stuff when it comes to Commodore 64 repairs. And I showed him the video, and he said, no, he wouldn't have got that either. But I actually was talking to him because I saw his video, which I'm a patron of his, and it was a patron exclusive at the moment. It will be coming out soon, which was another C64 repair, a C64 shortboard, in which he did pretty much the same thing as I did, went round and round in circles and ended up, pulling chips out left, right, and center. And it made me feel so much better about what I was doing. But okay, it's all right. You don't have to be an expert. So are there any projects where or do you find that the projects where you feel really comfortable with the technical knowledge that you need to put that episode together, do those projects, are they easier to put together as a video, and are the ones that where you go in blind and you know nothing about this, and say, for instance, that Amiga that you repaired recently or are repairing, that one I know that you struggled with. Is that one are they more difficult for you to put together?
I think I'm much less familiar, please don't lynch me in the comments, with the Amiga platform than an awful lot of people, and I've probably got no right to be making videos about Amiga hardware.
Dare you?
I'm much more familiar, as you say, with PC side of things. I know the ATX standard like the back of my hand. I'm much more out of my depth with Amiga stuff. I tell you what, though, I am really enjoying fault finding this one, as frustrating as it is when you do want to get on, because this video is not about trying to fix an Amiga. The Amiga was working when I started.
You broke it.
It's broken while I've been doing stuff to it. And it's frustrating in the sense that it's holding up a video. But it's all part of the fun. And as I've been messaging, Glenn's been helping me out immeasurably with this one. CRG Glenn. I think he feels in some way responsible because he's the one that sent me this Amiga and it's now broken. And I think he feels a little bit responsible, which is ridiculous. He shouldn't. But I've broken it and I'm doing my best to fix it. But he's been so super helpful in fault finding it. And we've fixed one problem. We've now got a stable 5-volt supply to the reset pins on the CIA, which we didn't have before. But I think now the CIAs are also not working properly. So I've got a known working board coming that I can do some fault finding on. And if all else fails, I've got a known working board, so I can carry on with the project. And just be honest about that. But to answer your original question, which I think was something about,
I forget.
Is it? I forget. We're rambling. It's fine. I think the point was, I enjoy knowing what's going to happen in a video before I shoot it. The best videos I make are ones that I script ahead of time.
Yes.
I've got a compact Rosario, quite an interesting compact Rosario under the bench there, that has a Media GX Cyrix processor in it. So it's like the original system on a chip, if you like.
Yep.
But obviously x86 based. And that works. So I can knock out that video in a day. It's really just to clean it up and show people it working. But when stuff doesn't work or doesn't go according to plan and you have to rewrite the script 10 times because it hasn't gone how you thought it was going to go, that can be really frustrating.
Do you enjoy the writing as much as the recording and the actual process of making the video?
I don't know that I enjoy it more. I certainly have more time to script and think and plan. You know this, but others won't. I split my time between being at home and working away from home. So I spend a lot of time in the week in hotels and things like that. And that's free time where I can sit and plan and buy and script and think about the flow of videos and work on B-roll and things like that. The time I actually have at home to progress videos, as well as doing all the things that you should be doing when you're at home, is quite limited. So I think I'm more relaxed when it comes to the scripting, and I like to be prepared so that when I have got that 2 hours at home that I can focus on retro, I know exactly what I'm going to do.
You have to make the most of that time and be as efficient as you can. That's really good. And it comes across in the quality of your videos, which are, I have to say, awesome.
Coming from you, mate, that means a lot.
Aussie case. I want to talk about the Aussie case because one of the things that happened last year in the charity event that we did was you donated this Aussie case, which I turned into. I made a build and put a C64 board from Rob Peepo Taylor in there. I think it was the board that Rob built got put in there. How did you feel about all of that when that was going under the hammer?
Well, I didn't win it, so.
Oh, you tried to buy it back. That's right.
I tried to buy it back. So I got that for free, and I've told you this story, but it was someone on Facebook Marketplace near to me was converting the old village post office into their home, and they'd found it in a back room, and they didn't know what it was, so they put it on Facebook for free. And I went down and got it, and I was a bit perplexed, to be honest. And I had to take a picture of it and do an image search to find out what on earth it was. But yeah, it was the Australian Commodore 64 case that had been made by Micro Accessories of South Australia, which was a aftermarket kit that they sold primarily in Australia, but then latterly in Europe as well, so that you could take the system board from a bread bin and put it in a case that looked a lot more like a C64C. And yeah, I mean, I was so happy to be able to give you that, mostly because I appreciated it was something special, but it was something that I had no emotional attachment to whatsoever. I actually bought a salvageable bread bin case and put the board from that machine back into a bread bin case, and then was able to give that case to you to do something special with. And although I didn't win it, I'm very happy that's gone to someone that was obviously very in love with it and obviously wanted to support the charity. And it was interesting, actually, that when we did that live stream and I was on with the Aussies right at the beginning, and yeah, they had some fond memories of that case. So, yeah.
That was a good moment, actually. And it was, I did enjoy seeing that one go. Oh, do you know what's going to be amazing is at some point in the future that we get to meet these people and maybe at a show or something. And I'm hoping someone's going to come up to me and say, I bought that machine off of, and I have met a couple of the people. I've met in the first year. I hand delivered one of the Spectrums to Roy at. He lives about an hour away from me, and that was really nice to get to meet him and spend some time with him and met his cat. And I've met I'm so sorry, I forget his name. I'm going to say Gary, that bought 2 of the machines and we met up at Reese's studio. And that was, again, it was really nice to spend some time. But I'm really hoping that somebody just appears at one of these shows that we go to and says, "Oh yeah, I bought your Mectrum something or other," so I can just say thank you, because they've just done wonders for the charity.
Well, where are we going to next, Lee?
We're going to Swindon.
We are.
The Swindon is it's Retro Fest 2025 on the 31st of May and the 1st of June. I'm going to be there both days. Are you there both days?
I'm both days. I haven't booked my hotel yet, but I'm there both days.
Okay. We're in the and I'm not going to say which hotel, because we could have groupies like keeping us awake all night. So that's going to be great fun. What I'm going to be bringing is actually just over there, but it's so blurred out by my really nice lens that you can't really make out what it is. It's just there in the background behind me. I'm going to bring that, and I've got another project. If I can get it done in time, I've got another project that I'm really excited about, which is similar to this one, and it's going to be sitting next to one of your machines as well. And I think the 3 of them are going to make a really nice little display. But there's also a load of other Big Red Arrow Club members that are going with us as well, that you can find if you go to. I'll put a link in the description for the event, and you can actually look up all of the different people that are going. It's not just rubbish YouTubers like us. Oh no, sorry, I shouldn't say that. You're a great YouTuber. It's not just rubbish YouTubers like me. There are people from the community bringing their own amazing machines to show us. People like Roy, the Loud Scots bloke, who is the Mr. Aquarius. I'm hoping he'll bring his Aquarius 2 again, because I saw that 2 years ago in Cambridge, and that is one of only 4 Aquarius 2s in the world, and it's the only one that's working. And so I've seen that. That was quite a wonder to see. Who else is going? The Binary Dinosaurs. I forget his name escapes me. I should have got the list up in front of me. I could have made myself look even less stupid. Binary Dinosaurs will be there. Devilish Designs Dave will be there. There's all sorts of people. Have a look at the list, and it shows you on the list what they're into. I think it shows you what they're bringing, and you can see if it's going to be something that you might not want to miss. Chris has asked who of the Red Arrow Club is going. Oh, well, Matt's actually organising us this year. It fell to me last year, but Matt's actually stepped in, so I'm going to put him on the spot.
So looking at my carefully prepared list, you and I will both be there. Some bloke called Neil will be there.
Neil who?
Neil of Neil Mr. Cave Neil.
Cave Neil, yeah.
Cave Neil. Dudley of Yesterzine.
Actually, sorry, it's not just Cave Neil. I think it's the whole Retro Collective are going.
Are they all coming? Okay,
I think so.
That'd be good.
Sorry, yeah, Dudley.
Dudley of Yesterzine, Yawning Angel Keith, Duncan Retro Crazy, Timber Wolf, Andy from Hack Build Restore, and Retro Tech Repair will all be there.
Excellent. I'm anticipating there will be others joining us at the last minute as well. There's a couple that I'm thinking of leaning on and encouraging to come our way. But yeah, that'll be. I'm really. That's probably going to be the highlight of the year. But that's something to look forward to in just under 2 months' time.
Yeah, I did passively aggressive message Mark as well because I know he's going. But
which Mark? Mark fixes stuff.
Mark fixes stuff. Yeah.
Oh right, yes, he is. He's going to lay on our table, was what he said. Right. So, where do you get off, mate? You're Mr. PC, and you started doing videos about 8-bit computers. This is the lawn thing that I'm talking about. This is me pointing the hose at you. Is this something you want to do more of?
I think I do what interests me. I'm in that very fortunate position where I don't have to stick to a niche to drive success. I do this because it's fun and because I find it interesting.
I just want to point out that what Matt said then is to drive success. He's not saying that everything he does is successful. He's saying that he doesn't care whether it's successful or not.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't care if my videos get 1 million views. I care about producing something that I've enjoyed doing. And right now that's looking at machines that I've never looked at before. And some of the stuff that I've got coming up is things that I've never actually used in anger ever. And I'm going to repair them purely so that I can see them in a working state. But there will be more PC stuff. I've got 2 or 3 machines that I've got lined up to do videos on. I'm trying to find that balance now. I've just done 2 reasonably successful Mac videos. I've got a couple of Amiga ones coming up, probably then a couple of PC ones. But it's really whatever piques my interest at the time. I've probably got at this point about a year's worth of machines in terms of workflow. Every 6 to 8 weeks is how often I release a video, and I've probably got a year's worth of projects lined up. In fact, I've had to buy more racking for the garage to put all these non-working machines on. So yeah, there will be more PC stuff, and the beauty of retro, right, is stuff breaks all the bloody time. So there's PCs that I've already done videos on that I'll probably end up doing second channel videos on because they're now not working again.
You say you've got a year's worth of content lined up. I reckon I've got a year's worth of content lined up, and I'm releasing currently. I've just released 4 videos in the last 5 days, so I've got a lot of stuff in here waiting to be fixed.
Our workflows are somewhat different.
Yeah. Oh, I wanted to know: do you game now, or do you just fix things? And
the frustrating thing that. Well, it frustrates a lot of people, it doesn't upset me, is that I spend all this time repairing and refurbishing these machines and next to no time playing them, because that's not what I get the enjoyment for. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'll sit and play, Dizzy or, Colossal Caves or anything like that. I do enjoy it, but it's not what I get the most fun out of. I mean, I still play modern games to an extent. This morning, I actually finished Halo Infinite. Because that's been one that I've got Game Pass now, so it's easy just to duck in and say, well, I'm going to try this game. I'll tell you what I do want to try is what's it called? It's just come out. It's like a Fallout style game, but in the north of England.
Outland.
Someone will put it in the chat, I'm sure.
Yeah, that really does look interesting. I'm quite
I need to. It's on Game Pass, so I'm going to download now that I've finished Halo Infinite. I'm going to download that tonight and maybe have a go this week. But yeah, I mean, my main gaming machine, because I am so mobile, is I've got an Asus ROG Ally, which is absolutely fantastic. I mean, it will play modern AAA stuff on lowish settings, but I've got loads of emulators on that as well. And I've got 4, if I want to sit and play a retro game, I've got one of those Miu Minis.
Oh, yeah.
I bought it from the Cave,
I was there.
and you were there, and yeah, that's my go-to because it's just so convenient. I mean, you haven't got to get a machine out, pull out a CRT, connect everything up, rewind the tape, press play, go make a cup of tea, come back.
That's part of
And
the enjoyment.
I know it isn't, but there's a time and a place, right?
Yeah.
And I'm what I would call time poor. So to be able to pick up a device and just flick it on and dive straight into where I left off in a certain game, because it does save states and everything like that, is Atomfall. That was the game. Thank you, Chris. So yeah, it's an amazing device, and just the fact that it can play everything up to like PlayStation 1 like that,
Yeah,
is incredible.
it's a marvel, isn't it? Imagine taking something like that back in time. What would you take back in time? Can you got to pick a device to go back to? So 1994 was when you first were dabbling in computers. What device would you take back and hand to your younger self?
So I would take this back.
Oh, yeah, this is an audio podcast as well.
Oh, so I would take my iPhone back, and I would explain to...
You wouldn't have any signal.
No, I wouldn't, but I would explain to 10-year-old me that I hold in my hand the entirety of all human knowledge, past and present, and I use it to argue with strangers on the internet.
I like
And
that
look
one.
at cats.
And look at cats. Yeah, take pictures of cats. If I want to find a picture on my phone, all I have to do is filter out any picture of a motherboard or circuit board and cats, and then I can find anything that's left. It's a very small list. It's just cats and the insides of ZX Spectrums.
Well, for a while, this was because I went on hiatus and I sold a lot of my gear, and this was my primary camera when I came back to doing YouTube videos a year or so ago. And actually, I mean, it's incredible. The first 3 or 4 videos on my channel, going back 15 years, were on an old DV camcorder, so a cassette tape camcorder that was edited on an iMac, the original iMac. And not only does my phone have a far superior camera, but it also has significantly more processing power than that iMac, and I could actually do more on that one device. And I could shoot, edit, and publish the video from this, compared to the workflow 15 years ago, is incredible.
What an incredible thing! I can remember running around as a young lad, dreaming of flying cars and lasers and being able to talk to somebody on a device in my hand. Just, whether it was walkie-talkie or anything, but basically Star Trek.
No hoverboards, though.
No hoverboards, no. This was before Back to the Future. Right, so Matt, where can people find you on the internet, and where do you want them to find you on the internet?
So you can find my YouTube channel, TME Retro. There's my website, techmadeeasy.co.uk. And I am now probably primarily on Bluesky. And please don't ask me for my handle because I can't remember it, but
it will be in the description.
It'll be in the notes. But yeah, I've that other former bird-related site, I've given up on that, like most people now.
Binned it off.
It's not worth the hassle. It's not worth the drama. If there's one thing I can't stand, it's drama.
Yeah, avoid at all costs.
And that's what that platform became. And we've talked about this on the Retro Hardware Discord, but my Bluesky, I only ever look at my followers feed or the people I'm following. And the minute anyone brings politics or world events up, they get unfollowed, unfortunately, because I just don't go there for that.
There are important things in this world, and your mental health is one of them, and you should protect that at all costs. Right, I've got one more question for you, and it's, I want you to think about our future guests and our future listeners. Do you have any thoughts for them? People will come back to this. If I can keep this going for, let's say, let's get wild here. This is somebody's listening to this in 4 years' time, having listened back to the through the back catalogue. What do you say to that person now?
You try and think of something really profound to say
To somebody. Yeah, it's hard, isn't it?
But 4 years from now, I just hope we're all still here. There's a lot of negativity in the world at the moment,
Beautiful.
and I just hope that we manage to get through all that, and we're still enjoying things the way we are today. And hopefully, a lot of the problems that we have today have gone away. It's a difficult time, and I think we get a lot of difficult times lately, don't we?
Yeah.
We've not had a great few years as a species, really, with one thing or another. And it's not looking particularly vibrant at the moment. But I think if we can just keep respecting one another, keep enjoying one another, and keep trying to understand one another, then I think we'll all be better for it. So I just hope in 4 years' time that some of these issues have resolved themselves.
Fantastic. I was going to say that maybe try and reproduce the Z80 processors and get those back in production again, because the world is a poorer place without the Z80 in it.
Well, let's start with the Z80, and then we'll try and fix all the other stuff.
That's it. We've got to start somewhere. We need a bedrock to put all our hopes and dreams on. Okay, so it's time to draw this war of words to a close and tuck our bruised egos in for the night. If you've enjoyed watching or listening to this podcast, please consider pushing internet buttons to let us know. What's the worst that could happen? You might make us smile. And with that knowledge in your heart that you brighten the day of another living, breathing human being, you're one of today's true heroes. Because what could be more important than making another person smile? Ta-ra. Chuck. Matt, say goodbye.
Goodbye.